that we've been discussing, and how we're able to shift our mindset, and how we're able to just kind of just look at things in a different light. Because I think it's very important that when people hear the word mindset, they automatically, of course, you think about your brain and how you think, um, how you're able to accept information, how you're able to perceive information. Because I think it's very important for everybody to understand that you have to grow in certain areas of your life. Like you have to grow. I don't know anybody that is the same person they was a year ago or 2 years ago, even I don't know, 10 years ago. Because I for sure don't want to be the same person who I was 10 years ago. I don't know about you, millionaire, but I know one thing about me. I don't want to be a person I was 10 years ago. Cause Lord have mercy.
No.
Lord have mercy.
No.
Lord, no, 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 no. But I think it's important for the people to grow, and especially when you're exposed to something. A lot of people, like when you are exposed to something, and that's one thing that we've been able to be exposed to a group of individuals that actually have changed my life. Um, and when I mean changed my life, I don't mean like, I've just not changed, I don't want to say changed my life like that, but they've changed my life for the better because I've actually been able to just see, I'm able to see different things, right? Because at one point, I've thought a certain kind of way. And I think it was, a condition that we all have, that we think like this, and we're taught these things, and and it doesn't even matter about school. I'm just saying in general, just
Yeah.
general,
Yeah.
life, you're taught how to think. Like
Yeah.
this is why, and I was not to digress from this. So I was watching um have you ever watched the show Paranormal Caught on Camera?
Mm-mm.
So
Never.
it's a show. It comes on the Travel Channel. I watch the Travel Channel a
Oh,
lot,
okay.
and it actually talks about people that have witnessed some type of paranormal activity, whether it be aliens, where it be ghosts, where it be spirits, where it just is
Mm-hmm.
something they've seen things happen,
Mm-hmm.
um, and paranormal activity have been caught. And I believe in some type of paranormal activity. I believe in the other side of the life that we want to,
Mm-hmm.
eventually go their way. So they were talking about, it was this child. It was this little bitty
Mm-hmm.
baby, and maybe about a year old. And there was some paranormal activity in the home. They didn't, and it wasn't a evil spirit, but it was some type of activity there. They didn't know what it was, exactly what it was, but they could see, they could sense it, they could feel it. But
Mm-hmm.
they were afraid because of the baby, because usually they say this, that activity or any type of goals or anything, they attach themselves to children, right?
Right.
Because
Mm-hmm.
children have an innocence, and they don't understand, and they don't know anything, because they have not been taught to
Right.
fear things. And
Mm-hmm.
I was listening to the man talking about this paranormal activity in the home, and how that's why it goes to children, and little innocent shit, like even babies and children, because they don't have the mindset to comprehend that this is something evil, or this is something
Right.
bad,
Mm-hmm.
like. And so the psychologist start to explain about, when you start to grow into, when you start to get older, you start to think about, you are taught what you should be
Right.
fearful of. You
Mm-hmm.
should be taught, you're taught what you should be happy about. You're
Mm-hmm.
taught what is good, what is bad. You're taught all these things. So, and it's so crazy. It's so weird because, I studied the brain with psychology, and you study like parts of the brain that
Mm-hmm.
do this, and you got comprehension, you got reasoning skills, you have
Mm-hmm.
just things that make you, everything that kind of compiles of why, okay, if something happens to you, the anger part of your brain, like how do
Mm-hmm.
you
Mm-hmm.
how do you control your emotions, all those things are the different parts of the brain. And so as a child, that's why a baby, like my baby right now, she has these temper tantrums because I'm not
Mm-hmm.
feeding her fast enough. She's like,
Mm-hmm.
ah, feed me,
Right.
you know.
Right.
But what will you do? We tell her, stop, slow down. No,
Mhm.
don't
Mhm.
do that. That's not right, you know, because we're
Mhm.
teaching them to control their
Mhm.
emotions, which is
Mhm.
something that she's supposed to have to do. But it was
Mhm.
just so amazing to me to hear this man talk about this activity in the home. And he's talking about how the children are so innocent because they aren't taught fear.
Mhm. Right.
And
Right.
as you grow older, and you are taught,
Lose that.
you taught like, this is fearful, this is not good, this is how it's supposed to be, this is what you're supposed to do, this is
Mhm.
how you're supposed to live, this, like,
Right.
everything that you are, that it's taught to you, like
Right.
how you're supposed to actually live your life. And then when you get older and then you see certain people that aren't doing that, and you're like, that's not right. You're not,
Mhm.
you're not,
Right.
you're
You
not doing this.
question
You're not doing
it.
this the right way. You know, you're supposed to do X, Y, and Z. And if you don't do it that way, then you're not doing it. You're not going to be successful, or you're not going to be this living a life of abundance.
Mhm.
So that just brings me to like me being at the age I'm at right now. And I'm almost 40, knocking on 40, you know, and
Mhm.
it's so weird because I have learned more about myself that I
Mhm.
have in the last 3 years of
Mhm.
my life that have ever learned, like, all, and no
Throughout
discredit
your
to my
life.
parents, no discredit to them,
Right.
especially my father. Like, he taught me a lot of things about myself, and he always used to make me understand that you have to figure your life out. Like, you have to
Mhm.
figure things out. Like, you're going to go through these situations, and you're going to make these mistakes, and you're going to understand some things you're going to do really well and some things you're going to do really bad in, but
Mhm.
that doesn't make you who you are.
Right.
So I always just say, if it, just because it doesn't make sense to somebody else, doesn't mean it doesn't make sense, period. But
Right.
you have to realize, is this good for you? Is this okay? Are you happy? Like, all these things come into play. And
Mhm.
so I just was thinking, I was like, man, going through this journey, what we've gone through with just learning how to learn how to manifest the things that you want. I didn't even, and it's, I knew that you're supposed to do that. Like, I knew that you're
Mhm.
supposed to, because I was a therapist and I would teach my girls daily affirmations, right? I would say,
Mhm.
okay, this is what you got to say to yourself. This is what you have to tell yourself. And I was confident, growing up, and I was always,
Right.
my dad was like, hey, in
Mhm.
order for you to make it in this world, you got to be confident. You got to be confident about what you're doing. Even if it's wrong, you stand up and you say it with some confidence, because
Right.
you have to do that. And and I would tell my girls, like, okay, you got to tell yourself these things, but it didn't even really register how to really manifest and change your
Mhm.
mindset until I got to be like mid-30s.
Mhm.
God honest, like, literally did not really understand about myself until I was about 30.
And I'm still learning because it's not as easy. They make it sound easy,
Yeah.
but it's not as easy as they make it sound. Because
Because I'm
even
still Peter.
through the process, so I have to tell you about. Well, I've been
Look,
explaining it on my
I'm
calls.
still Peter, Miss Vern. I'm still Peter. I'm still Peter. I just gotta throw that out there. Cause like you say, it's not easy. I'm still Peter, y'all. I select stay off in a second.
Because so, and I don't know if you've been on. I know you've been on a couple of the last few calls, but like I was explaining to them, like I have been doing my rituals, my process. So I've been
For
doing
years.
the meditation. I have been doing the writing the plan and making it plain. I've been
Right.
doing the visualizing. I've been feeling the emotions of being a multimillionaire. I've been
Right.
doing the process. So as we're going through this trading journey, so what happened was a couple of weeks ago, I get into a trade. And we know, like we'll get into a trade and you know things,
In the very beginning, oh
but
man, I
2 days ago, what happened was I was in a trade and I got out. And the trade, and you know how when you say, okay, it's going to go down to here, and it does it, but it may stop short first.
yeah.
So it has stopped short. did a little consolidation and dropped. And I was like, dang, I should have stayed in it. I would have made this much. So boom, but I didn't lose. So the next day it did the same thing. And so now I'm pissed because I'm like, dang, why am I doing that to myself? I should have just stayed in it.
Right.
So then the third day come along and I said, okay, I'm going to stay in it. Girl, it's going to just day. It reversed and I lost. And instead of just, you're not supposed to bring in previous days or what happened last week or what happened the day before into your present trade. You're just not supposed to do it. But I had to go through that. And as I'm going through that, so that night, because that was the most money I've ever lost. That was the most money I've ever lost.
You said like me a month ago.
I'm like, but like I said, but on the flip side, for me to be able to get in a trade with that lot size, for me to be able to risk losing that, my account I've been growing my account. Right. So I have to look at it. That's how I had to look at it. Like, well, dag, Verna, any other time you would have been mad if you lost $50 or $100. But this time, but I laughed because I was like, dag. Yeah. Because I was chasing what happened a couple of days ago, I should have just got out because I would have got out and would have been fine. And I could have just waited and got back in it.
Just got back in it.
But I was like, nah, it's going to do it because it did it 2 days. It's been doing this. Like,
it did it 2 days ago. Let me tell you something. That's the same thing. But the thing that a lot of people have to understand is that you took a L, which you lost. That was the most money you lost. And I've been there. Like I've lost over $1,000. I've lost close to,
Yeah.
So, yeah. And I started laughing.
Well, I did the same thing.
I started laughing and I was like, you dummy. And I said to myself, like, you dummy. But the thing was so crazy though. I got mad. I was like, oh my gosh, why did I do that? I should have known. I had my hands like this. And everybody know when you interlock your hands and you start putting them on your head, you start losing it. That's what you start doing. Everybody know when you interlock the fingers, it's over with. Like, oh, and why did I do that? Oh my gosh. But after I did it, of course, after I was mad. I mean, I wasn't mad at myself, but the initial thing was like, dang, this is the most you lost. Why would you get yourself into this trade? Because you saw it. And my thing was, you had days. Mine was, I had too much pride to get out the trade. That was mine. So I was in it and it went the way that it was supposed to go, but then it reversed and then it reversed, it just kept going. And so my thing was like, oh, it's going to turn back around. It's going to turn back around. It's going to turn back around. And I could have just got out the trade
a long time ago. Yeah.
Yeah. And it's just like, but it's like, then you get out. And then it go the other way. And you're like, I can't believe yet you did this to me. But this, you get your hands. But then I laugh and I said, man, you know what? You knew better. And then it's like, okay, what I did wrong. And it's so crazy because I would have never have done that a year or two ago. I would have been over here throwing everything. I would have been breaking plates. Yes. I would have been knocking stuff over. I would have been boo-hooing.
Yeah, you mad.
I would have been so mad. But the fact of the matter is that this is a game that a lot of people have to understand that it's not a gambling game, but it's a game of emotional control. Yeah. Like, and how you control your emotion and how you're able to shift your mind to understand, like, okay, I lost this bread. Okay. Right. It's not a loss, it's a lesson because I got to go back and see what I'm doing. And that's the whole thing. Like, I've never been able to do that with anything in my life. Like, not even just with trading, just with the relationship, with anything. I've never been able to actually just look at the situation and not get emotionally entangled into it and just try to figure out what's going on. So it's just crazy because when things were introduced to me, and I think that's life, when you have certain certain phases of your life. Like you got your
Mhm.
teenage years because you don't know absolutely nothing, you know, you think you know everything. Then you
Right.
get your 20s where you're an adult, you're a young adult, you know a little bit, but you still don't know nothing, right? You still are trying to figure out. Then you got your 30s where you figured out, like you feel, okay, yeah, I was acting an ass in my 20s and I was doing all this. Now I gotta figure, you know, and this is this generation. I'm not talking about like my parents or whatever. I'm
Right.
talking about my generation.
Yeah.
And yeah, my generation. And so it's like, okay, when you reach your 30s or you reach 30, 31, because I thought that was old. Like I was thinking to myself, and I don't mean old like that. I was just thinking like,
Mhm.
man, I'd be 30, 31. I'm not, because at the time I didn't have any kids. Like I didn't have any children. And I was just in my mind because I thought that I had to do things a certain way. And I said, hey,
That's
I
what.
gotta have this by the time I'm 20 something. I gotta have this by the time I'm 28. I gotta have this by the time I'm 30. So when I reached 30 and I didn't have only but maybe one of those things that I wanted for myself, I
Mhm.
was flustered with my life at that point because I was like, wait a minute, I've wasted my time. And they were like, no, you haven't wasted time. It's like, I don't have any kids, I'm not married,
That's
I'm not
what.
this, I'm not this, I'm not this.
Mhm.
So it really threw me off. But the way that I was thinking, the emotional control, I had a hard time controlling those different emotions when something went wrong or something wasn't right, or even just a bad relationship, you know, I would handle it a certain kind of way. But
Right. But that's yeah. But that's what I was gonna say. That's what I learned through this. So through this, what I learned was, because you know how we write down our goal, our daily goal,
mhm.
but you got your monthly goal, you got your yearly goal. So after this, I had to sit for a while and I
Oh
asked,
yeah, you gotta sit,
what
you gotta
is
sit
this?
there.
What is this trying to tell me? Like, what am I really doing? Because I knew better. I knew on the surface that I shouldn't have done that. So
Right.
it's something deeper. And what I realized is, even though I say I don't chase a trade, and I feel like I don't, subconsciously
You
I
do.
am chasing that goal, because I was like, gosh, had I did this a couple of days ago, this is where I could be. And then today, if this happens, this is where I'll be. So what I realized is like, oh my gosh, I gotta stop even doing that. Even with us writing down our goals and what we
Mhm.
want to do, we still can't go day to day worrying about how it's going to happen or when it's going to happen, because
Right.
that's what I'm
Turn your,
setting, I'm still setting
turn your
myself
volume up a
up.
little bit. I can't hear your volume went down a little bit. I don't know if it's your volume on your computer, but it just went down a couple notches.
Okay, I don't
I
know.
don't know. Maybe it could be mine, Miss Barnes. I don't know.
But it's almost like I was setting myself up for failure. So when I had that, and it was weird because like it was about 3 in the morning and I woke up, and
Mine happened like that too.
it was like me having a conversation with me.
With
And usually
yourself.
I have stuff like that, I'm usually having like a conversation with my dad or something like that. But this time it was me having a conversation with myself, and I was telling myself, stop it. Stop. When
Yep.
you go into your trades, just
Stop it.
focus on the setup itself. Don't worry about what your goal is for the day. Girl, the last 2 weeks, I mean, I didn't really trade this week because of other stuff, but the last week was like perfect. Like my trades was like perfect because I
Perfect.
wasn't worried about, I wrote my goal down, but I wasn't chasing it. And I really wasn't chasing it because I wasn't like, it was like, whatever I make, I'm done. When it's time for me to get out that trade,
I'm
when that
done. Take
start
take take that partial profit and go on about your day. Take
right.
that profit and
And then
leave.
it was 2 days that I made more. I made like, I really made the whole week in two
Okay.
days
Right.
because I wasn't like, I was just doing the trade.
I
You
bet
got sometimes when that thing just keep going and you be like, ooh, another candle. It's just
another
going.
because that's how it was with Nas this morning because I caught I caught the initial one and then I got out of it and I was like, I'm done, you know, I'm done. I'm not gonna because I had already caught my, you know, I got into gold. So I was like, I'm good. And then guess what I did? I said, I turned around and I started going, you know, going back. I was like, hold on, wait a minute. This setup is easy. And as soon as I hopped in, that thing went from red to blue so quick. I was like, oh Lord, have mercy. But that's what I'm saying too.
That's
mine
that
happened.
mindset
Mine,
shift that
yes,
you gotta.
it totally shift because
Mm-hmm.
mine happened at 3 something in the morning. Like
Mm-hmm.
mine happened around 3 or 4 in the morning, and I was sick. I ain't gonna lie to you, I was sick. I couldn't
Mm-hmm.
sleep. Like when it happened, that inside just anxiety just hit me, and I was like, why did I do that? You know,
Mm-hmm.
and I didn't trade for almost a month after that. Like,
Oh.
so I had a conversation, and I was like, I had talked to, I talked to Jarrell, I had talked to him, and we had a conversation. And because the thing was what I was doing, I had a plan, and I was doing
Yeah.
so well. I
Mm-hmm.
was doing well. And then something was invested in me, right?
Mm-hmm.
Something, and I got some more money, right? I got some more money, and some, it was like an investment for me to get into this trade and go bigger. I was
Mm-hmm.
like, oh man, I can achieve that goal I was trying to do, like that I
Mm-hmm.
really want to get to. And so
Mm-hmm.
that my thinking was, if I do piece by piece, and then I got to a certain number. Once
Mm-hmm.
I got to that number, I dropped the lot size and I chased that
Yeah.
particular trade, and that trade turned on me because
Mm-hmm.
I was chasing after it.
Right.
And that's what I'm saying, like the whole mindset of that, because it happened in the morning, and I had a whole conversation with myself, and I
Mm-hmm.
said, you knew better.
Right.
You don't do this. Like, you don't, like, you
Mm-hmm.
got something invested in you. And what you looked at is like, instead of just taking your time and
Mm-hmm.
doing the same thing that you were doing, you still would have got there.
Yeah.
You just in your mind, you just
Mm-hmm.
thought that I gotta do this. And the shift of the mindset came in after the L.
Mm-hmm.
Like, it was like,
Mm-hmm.
okay, I had I was talking to myself, like I'm having a
Yeah.
conversation.
Mm-hmm.
And I was just like sitting myself down, and I said, you have to do better, Jewel. And I told myself to stop. I said,
Mm-hmm.
whatever that you're doing right now, I need you to stop. Because
Mm-hmm.
one thing about that market, it will find a way to humble you.
Yeah.
It will find a way to bring you back to reality, to say you got away from what you were doing because you're trying to
Mm-hmm.
be greedy, or you're trying to do
Mm-hmm.
whatever.
Mm-hmm.
And guess what I'm gonna do? I'm gonna let you know who's still in charge.
Right.
And at the time, it was the buyers, because I was trying to sell, and it was the
Right.
buyers.
Right.
So it was basically telling me to stop and slow down and think about it, like you still can get to that goal if you just if you
Yeah.
and the bad thing about it is I was telling people, hey, do this, and then
Mm-hmm.
I did the same
You
thing that I
did what?
told them not to do. And so I was
Mm-hmm.
like, I interlocking my fingers. I was like, oh my God, what's going on? What am I doing? Like, what am
Yeah.
I doing?
Yeah.
So it's just and then it's like, even though the readings, and I tell people all the time, like the readings, the manifestation, how you manifest things, how you see things, how you visualize them, just like the
Mm-hmm.
goals. Like, I see the goals, I can visualize,
Oh.
I can see them in my sleep,
Mm-hmm.
I can hear them, I can visualize, I can see everything, but I
Mm-hmm.
still fall short sometimes because I'm human.
Right.
Change will come with my control of my emotions.
Mm-hmm.
The
Mm-hmm.
change of the shift of my mind happens because I read the books. And
Mm-hmm.
when something happens that's negative, or I ain't gonna say negative, when something
Mm-hmm.
happens that's outside that norm that I'm
Mm-hmm.
used to, or like I lose or anything, um, I don't automatically go into fight mode. I just kind
Right.
of like,
Mm-hmm.
man, okay, huh? What
What am
did
I
I
supposed
do
to
wrong?
learn
Like,
from this?
okay, what am I supposed to learn from this? And
Mm-hmm.
and you know what's so crazy? I used to look at that with relationships. I
Mm-hmm.
used to say same thing, relationships, even with my prior relationships, even before I really changed my mindset. I used to always say, well, what did what let me flip this mirror, because
Mm-hmm.
what happened for me to contribute to this mess? And a lot
Oh,
of people don't do, because a lot of people don't do that. A lot of people just
yep.
they blame other people
Mm-hmm.
for what happened. They say, oh well, you did this, you cheated, you did this, you
Mm-hmm.
did whatever
Yeah.
it is that they did. But then they don't, you ruined my life and you did this.
Right.
But then
Right.
and
What
I've
part
been
did
there.
you play in it? Mm-hmm.
I've been
Oh,
there. I've been there. And
absolutely.
I did that. Then when I flipped that mirror around on myself,
Mm-hmm.
I said, okay, he may have done that, and he may have
Mm-hmm.
caused, and it was his fault. for doing that, because that was on him or
Mm-hmm.
her. But what did I contribute to this mess? Like,
Mm-hmm.
what did I do to contribute to this mess? And once I figured out what I did to contribute to it, I was like, okay, I
Mm-hmm.
don't want that type of situation ever again.
Mm-hmm.
So
Mm-hmm.
now I gotta fix this flaw, and I call it a flaw, and not necessarily a flaw, but I have to think differently
Yeah.
about certain things, because sometimes, especially with having conversations, I'm from Louisiana. We always think everybody trying to play us. Like that was like, we always think people trying to get over, because that's just, I think it's just a norm of the South, because everybody think we are slower in the South. Like, oh, they don't know. But I just was like, I think it's just it's a cultural thing. Like, man, I just feel like everybody would try to play me. Like,
Right.
I just didn't like the way people tone was. So I just feel like people try to get over on you. So when I got into the relationship what I'm now, and I've been knowing him for years, and he would, when something was said, I used to just, man,
right.
I'm out of here, whatever. But now,
Right.
he's like, hold on, wait a minute. Let's
talk about
just try to fix this problem. Let's try to. And I was like,
yeah, like,
what are you talking about? And I was just like, but it made me think about it. But then you have somebody actually that sit down and have a conversation with you, and not that's talking to you, not talking at you.
right.
And now you can kind of see what parts you played.
Yeah.
And other things.
Even previous relationships. Oops.
You're like, wait a minute.
Oh yeah.
And it's okay, because everything you do through life is a growing process.
Exactly.
Like, you got to grow through life. You got to grow through the process. And that's what a lot of people have to understand, like, trust the process. Like, how do you change? And nobody's trying to, like, I don't want to change.
People don't want to unlearn. Like, you have to unlearn.
Unlearn a lot of things. And a lot of people are still stuck where they are. And you can't help those people grow, because they're still, and this is, again, you're around the same kind of people. They do the same kind of things. And the people that I was around 4 or 5 years ago are not the same people I'm around now. And it's totally different, because if I was still around those same people, I would still be doing the same things.
Right.
And my environment changed. And now my mind has changed, because guess what? Somebody was like, oh, hey, have you ever read this book?
Right.
Oh, y'all read too? And I'm thinking like,
right.
Okay, well, yeah, I read that book, but have you read this one? Have you read this one? And I'm like, nah. So you read the book, you be like, oh, this is a good book. It makes you think about your whole life. And it's like, are they talking about me? Just like when you go to church, you know how you go to church the day after you get out or something, and the preacher, it felt like he's talking directly to you.
Right.
Like, was he at the club with me last night?
Right.
It makes you think about what you're doing.
Yeah.
So like that's where, like, the manifestation. So when I started to manifest what I wanted, somebody was like, put sticky notes. Just put them. Just put them everywhere. And I was just like, oh, and my best friend, she does this, and it's so cute. She writes. She has a mirror on her in her bathroom, and she has her goals or her manifestations or her daily affirmations. She has them in lipstick on her mirror, and it's so cute. And I think it's very. I mean, I've seen people do that, but when I walked in there one time, I saw in her room, I saw her the thing, and I was just reading them, and I was just looking at them, and I saw her the sticky notes, and I was reading that, and I just was like, this is amazing, because these are the people who I'm around. And so when I saw that, I used to hear about people doing sticky notes and stuff like that on their in their bathroom mirror, because that's the thing that you look at the first thing in the morning. And so I actually when she did it, I saw that, and I was like, I said, I'm gonna try that, because I used to hear people all the time. And so that's in our bathroom mirror, sticky notes, it's prayers, it's acronyms, it's what we want. And like, once I actually accomplished the goal, I took the sticky note off and I folded it and I put it in a jar. And I didn't throw it away. I just put it in a jar.
I like that.
Because I didn't want to throw it away.
Right. Right.
It's already there, but and I've accomplished it. But I just want to keep those goals that I was able to accomplish and eventually have them there. So that was the manifestation part. And then it was just the book reading and the people that I was around. Like, and when I started to think differently, and I would have conversations with people now, and this is recently I had a conversation with a person, and I just was like, hey, I'm gonna have to end this conversation. I can't, like, this is going nowhere. Like my peace is being compromised, first of all.
Right.
I have mastered the art of meditation and peace and calmness.
Yeah.
And I want to have a center. I like energy. I'm in love with my energy, and I'm getting myself riled up. And I see that I'm getting to a certain area. And it's so crazy because I have never been able to do
the
that.
Other time you be cussing and girl, yes.
I'd be like, I don't know who like that's how I was like, I don't know. Maybe I don't know who you think you're talking to, but you know, that's, I mean, every now and then I still kind of have to do that because people just be still testing me. But my thought process, it was like, hey, I gotta go. Hey, or good day, goodbye. You know, like that was my whole thing now, because it's like now I can't allow you to come in and disturb my my mindset. I can't allow you to stir up what I've mastered.
Because it's some work. Yeah,
it's some work. I've worked to get to this point. Right. Don't take me back to 2010. Don't take me back to 2008, Jewel. Don't do that. Please don't do that. Right. So it's just like I had to really master. And with mastering, I'm gonna say this. I know you want to talk us, but I've actually got some books. Let me just show you what I got. Let me just, like, of course, my favorite one. My favorite one.
Girl, yes.
This is.
I love how it talks about the other self.
The first book that made me, well, actually was the I have a leadership book by Miles Monroe, and I actually got that when I was working my first corporate job. Like somebody gave it to me and were like, hey, read this book. It's a really good book, because I used to mentor this little girl, and her mom said that she was like, and it's my first time ever hearing about entrepreneur. This is back in 2007, so that's a long time ago. And she was talking about, she's like, well, you work here, you know, she's like, this is a good book to help your mind and think about, you know, certain things. And so I read the book and I was like, wow, because it talks about the art of leadership, talks about how not necessarily you have to be not a leader, like just always having to be, you know, a leader, but leader of your own destiny. You're like your own leader, like what you could do in your own life. So after that, you know, it was whatever. But then years later, I got this book, Outwitting the Devil. And when I read this book, when I tell you, it opened my mind, and I went home and I said, hey, y'all lied to me. Y'all lied to me about school. Y'all lied to me about church. Y'all lied to me about everything. So it just made me realize, you know, okay, it made sense, and it made a lot of sense to me. So I read it again, and I went back through it again to take notes. Notes, because I wanted to go back through there again. And then, of course, how to start worrying and start living. How to stop worrying and start living. That's another by
read that one by Dale.
It's a good book. And then, of course, as I may think of, like, this is the short version of it. Like this is and I didn't know which one I was getting when I went on Amazon, because I was like, oh yeah, let me get this book because I really want to read it. And I found out that this was the episode. Was it the
like the excerpt?
Yeah, it wasn't the whole thing. But I'm gonna eventually get the. This is one of my good books, and actually, what I'm reading right now is this one, like you told me about. So this one, and it definitely, and of course this is one of the top favorites.
Oh yeah, Power of positive.
Power of positive thinking.
Good
Because
one.
this really, and I mean, there's so many different mindset books. There's so many different books you can actually just understand and read.
Yeah.
And the main book of all is that good old
Oh yeah, the Bible.
that good old Bible, you know, that good book, you know. But I think anything with like my I got this as well. This is called The Moments of Peace from Moms. And it's like a devotional
Okay.
every day. Like anything like that. I tell people to just, you know, you have to set aside time to find something to read, something peaceful.
Yeah.
Especially right now. So much going on right now. Like there's so much negativity in the world. I hate to turn the TV on. I hate to see the news. I don't even, they got a Lambda variant, they got a Delta variant. They're gonna next have an Omega Psi-Phi one. I don't know. They're gonna have a Alpha one.
Right.
They're gonna have a Sigma one. They're gonna, you know, they're gonna have all the letters, all the Greek alphabet. They're gonna have the whole Greek alphabet eventually.
Right.
You know, and I'm just so tired of hearing it's like, oh, it's, you know, monkeypox and this and that. It's like, it's just getting to a point where it's like, hey, guess what? To me, in my opinion, God said, hey, y'all better get together down there. Like y'all need to get together. So it's just, you have to change your brain and your mindset. And those are things that I do. Like I just, you know, I get up, you know, I thank God for a day. I thank him for today. I don't think for tomorrow because I had to realize tomorrow is taken care of. Worry about today.
In the present.
Don't worry about today. Worry about today. Don't worry about anything else and just try to go from day to day. Like if you can wake up, you can figure out how to eat, you can figure out how to whatever, just figure that out. And just, you know, you have to put yourself in a mind full of peace. And this is over it's like I say, over years that I've had to read and understand and comprehend and learn things about myself. I had to learn things about myself that I never knew. And it's like, man, I had to think, I was like, yeah, you're not as perfect as you thought you was, you know? And it's like, not thinking I was perfection.
Right.
It was just like,
you just might not took, like you said, like accept the part that you played in some.
I had to accept the part I played in and be okay with listening to other people. And just because somebody tells you something, oh, hey, I think you should do this, it's not necessarily a negative thing. Like you have to stop, because a lot of people, they answer because they're not listening. They're just, I mean, they're not listening. They're not responding to understanding. They just automatically hear something negative and they respond to that. They don't respond for the understanding of it. Like, it's like, okay, hey, did you really just hear what I just said? And some people will hear a part of a sentence or a part of a story that you're telling me, and they will only hear the bad, like the thing that you said, but you didn't even say anything totally bad. I'm like, did you just hear what I said? Like, you just,
because their mind has already went somewhere else.
It's already went somewhere else. And that is the part of the mindset that you have to understand. Like, I gotta allow people to have opinions. I gotta allow people to you know, express those opinions. I gotta allow people to say this, but I also have to say, hey, I don't agree with this. This is what I think. This is what I feel. You know, I gotta control my own personal peace. I think peace is so important in your life right now. Like I could care less about anything else but my peace. If my peace is compromised, I'm getting myself up out of that situation. And I feel like, hey, I gotta go. I gotta leave. I'm leaving, you know, and people don't even understand how that plays a part on your mind.
And your body. Like stress. Stress can kill you.
I'm not gonna let nobody stress me out. Nobody. I don't care if it's my 7-year-old child. She ain't gonna stress me out. She better go to that room.
I need a minute. Give me a minute.
Please and thank you. You know, so it's just like, you know, you have to I think when we talk about manifestation and we talk about mindset, I think it's a lot deeper than what a lot of people think. I think it's deeper than just reading a book.
Yeah.
It's deeper
It's,
than just oh, I got affirmations on the wall and I
it
got
is.
this and I got, I think it's deeper. It's deeper because you have to start peeling back the onion on
Mm-hmm.
yourself. And when you start
On,
peeling those layers back and
on
you
you.
like, hold on, like
Mm-hmm.
I got some trauma that I used to deal with. Or
Yeah.
even when you talk to a therapist or talk to somebody, you don't have to talk to,
Mm-hmm.
but you start to realize and you just really start to see things about yourself. Because I noticed when it was a cycle of certain things in my life that were happening. And
Especially
I
when
was
it keeps
like,
repeating itself.
yeah, I was like, wait a minute. Like,
That can't, that might be me. Because if this keeps
hey,
happening,
hey, this
yeah,
keeps happening to me. This might be my, not necessarily my fault, but this might be
yeah,
a contribution that I'm giving these
right.
people, and I'm allowing people to do this
Yeah,
to me.
I'm attracting it
Yeah,
because that's what people don't understand. We
you
attract
attract what you. You better
yeah,
say it
whatever.
louder for the people in the back. Say it louder for the people in the. You like that attraction because that's how
Hmm.
you think.
Thinking.
And that's the thing that people understand. How you think is what you, if you think like this, that's
Yeah.
what you're going to attract. I
Mhm.
used to always think to myself, if I expect the worst out of people,
Yeah,
when
that's
it
what you get.
happens, I won't be so disappointed. And that is the most idiotic way to think.
Yeah, yeah.
And that is, and I used to think that that was the right thing because I was always ready and prepared for the
Just trying to
negative thing that
prepare
would
yourself
happen.
for something.
I was
Hmm.
training my brain to think like, and then when it didn't happen, I used to think like, what's wrong with you? Like, what's like, why? And this is what any like,
Hmm.
just anything like a job or just anything I had, like it was always, I was like, I was optimistic, but I was also a
Hmm.
pessimistic at the same time.
Right.
I was
Hmm.
always thinking like, hey, I gotta
Hmm.
be on the lookout for this
Yeah.
situation right here because I don't
Mhm.
know, like he she too nice, so this situation too
Yeah.
good. Like,
Hmm.
man, I know. And then when something do
Hmm.
happen, I'm like, I knew it. I
Yeah.
knew it. Like I
Yeah.
knew it. And it's like
You attracted it. You was asking for it. You.
you ask for it. Like
Yeah.
you ask for it. So it's
Hmm.
just I think to think is to put it in ink, and you have to put things down, you have to see them. And I think it is so important because everything that I put down on a piece of paper and I wrote down,
Hmm.
I've accomplished it. I'm able to attract it, and I'm
Hmm.
able to see things and I'm like, oh man, this is like you gotta like stick your chest out a little bit because you're like,
Yeah.
man,
Yeah.
like this really works. And then
Hmm.
you tell yourself like, wow,
Hmm.
this
Yeah.
manifestation stuff really, it really
Hmm.
works. Like it really works when you put it out into
Hmm.
the universe. Because if
Especially when you make yourself, like you said, present and aware. Because sometimes I think what happens is people will pray and ask for things and it will happen, but because they're not mentally
come
really
on now,
prepared for it,
come on,
it come right on past them.
come on past
They're
you.
like, it never even, but yeah, it did. Yeah, it
Yep.
did. Somebody came to
Or
you
you're
and
not
asked you
specific
this,
enough because they
but you,
say, God,
yeah.
please send me a good man. Man, come on in.
Mm-hmm.
And they
Mm-hmm.
dismiss them. And you say,
Yeah,
"Nah, I thought you was gonna send me a good." I
yeah,
did.
I did.
I
Mhm.
sent you a good one. I sent you.
Yeah,
There he go right there. Now he may be 5'4", but he
right.
right. So guess what? God, next time, send me a good man who's 6'2".
6'1". Oh, yeah. Right. That is so,
But
that
it's
is
true. But I'm just saying.
so
But
true.
like you say,
Yeah.
yeah, you have
Mm-hmm.
to. Those good things will come along,
Mm-hmm.
and you will pass it by because you're not even ready for.
Yeah.
You're not even ready. That's why I tell people like, do you understand how much $1 million is? Right? If it
And are
was
you
so
ready for
easy, everybody would be able to get $1 million.
it?
But
Mm-hmm.
everybody's not prepared, and everybody don't have the mind
Mm-hmm.
set to actually do what they're supposed to do with $1 million. Because
Mm-hmm.
if you got that much money, that ain't don't keep it. You're not supposed to just keep it yourself. You're supposed to do things with it
Yeah.
to build,
Mm-hmm.
and to figure out what for future. But a lot of times, a lot of things, and this is so true. It's very, very true. Because I'm, getting ready to get married next year. And I know that I wanted to get married. At one point, I wanted to get married about 20, I think it was 26. It's 26. I felt like 26, 27 was a good age. Like career-wise, I would have been my career good. I've been, you know, I don't have any kids at that time. And I was working a really good job. So in my mind, I thought that I was prepared because I had been to school. I had graduated twice. I was working a corporate job, making good money. And at the time, I had a relationship, and it was a good relationship, kind of, sort of. And I was thinking like, okay, yeah. This is, I want to get married by the time I'm 25. And it, of course, it went to hell. But needless to say, but when I look back on it and I just looked at years, I look back and I said, there's no way that I was going to be somebody's wife at 27 years old. There's absolutely no way. Not because I was just a childish person or I just was running the streets or anything like that. I just knew that the way that I thought back then, that I think now, it would have taken me a lot to actually get to where I'm at now. And I don't think that I would have been able to do that with that person, of course, or just do that with anybody, because if we're both young and we're still trying to figure each other out and we going back and forth and they're like, oh man, like, I just know personally, I wouldn't have been able to do that. So now being 38 years old, and you get the mindset because people say, oh, I've been married 50 years. I've been married this long. I've been married this long. And I'm like, now I have the perfect relationship. I have the perfect man. I have the perfect situation. And I'm getting married to this person. And it's like, but guess what I did? 3 years ago, I wrote it down. And I said that I wanted to do this. I wanted to have this. I wanted to be this with him. And I want all these things. I wrote it down. And 3 years later, they have come to head.
Wow. Yeah.
But I just look back on the person who I was 3 years ago. And I'm looking at the person who I was at 27 or 28. And I'm like, yeah, I was mature, but there's no way I would have been prepared to be this kind of person who I am now. Like, I wouldn't have been prepared to be this kind of person. Or I just look back, even when I was 30, even when I was in my, even when I was 30, just my whole career, just with forex, just with trading, everything, it takes time to get to this level. Like it takes, that's why they say, man, if you learn the skill, like we talk about the skill set all the time, like learn the skill, it takes time.
Yeah.
Like, you gotta learn the skill, gotta be able to understand like what's going on. And that is the mindset. Like I'm big on it. Like I'm like me and my friends, we talk like, girl, what book you read now? Like, and it's like crazy because it's like those are conversations that we had. Or I asked my friend, I'm like, girl, I just saw you post up a book on there. What's that? I want to see. I want to read that book. Like
about
hey, you can't do that with everybody. And just and I've heard somebody say this: everybody who come with you can't go with you. So just because they everybody who came, like everybody who I was raised with or whatever or friends with, I mean, they can go with me.
Right.
They can't go with me. Everybody can't go with me. And I gotta lead some folks right there.
And it doesn't mean that you don't love them or anything or think anything less of them. They're just not ready for that level. They're just not ready.
And you can tell by the conversations you had with them that their mind is still on that same mindset. Like I still have conversations with people to this day. And I'm like, I'm just sitting there looking like, yeah. And then I get to my house and I'm just like, I know why I don't talk to that person. Like, and you think like, I know why I don't even have a conversation with that person because I can't think like that. And now I get why they say a lot of married people can't or aren't friends with a lot of single people. And I didn't get that at first because I was like, because I had married friends when I was still, single. And I'm not gonna say a lot, but I had a few of them, and we still, and it was different. But there were certain things that they did together
Right.
that we did together because I was still, friends with them.
Yeah.
Now it makes a lot of sense why they do
Mhm.
say that, because
Mhm.
now I see. Now I see what you mean. Now I see, because most everybody I know right now is married or getting ready to get married. And now it makes more sense, especially when they say I having kids. Like, yeah, you still can be friends, you still can be cool.
Yeah.
Now the mindset, because the mindset of me before I had children is
Yeah.
not even nowhere near the mindset I have children. The mindset
Exactly.
of me getting ready to be married is not the mindset I was, because now I see, like, now I
Mhm.
gotta think about this.
Yeah. Yeah.
So I
It's
never
not just
understood that.
you, it's
Yeah.
more people involved in my decision making now.
My decision making is a whole lot different. And that is, of course,
Mhm.
because of these books.
Right. Yes. Yes.
It's
And
because of the books.
I like the growth now. I really
Yeah,
do. I
I do
like
too.
learning. Like if I'm not learning something, I'm like, I
What am I
just don't
doing?
feel right. I
I
don't
just
even.
love I've loved who I've become.
Oh
And I
yeah.
was saying this the other day, I was like, man, I've become a person who is just, I'm amazed
Yeah.
by the person who I've become over the years. And
Mhm.
we just sit back and we laugh about some of the stuff that we used to do.
Mhm.
And we
Mhm.
like, girl, remember that time when you
Yeah.
remember that
Yeah.
time you wanted to give up and you wanted to quit this and you wanted,
Mhm.
because you couldn't get this, and now you over here teaching these folks how to trade.
Right.
Remember that? And I was just like,
Mhm.
yeah, I remember. But it's just it's amazing to be able to, like, trust, like you say, that word, trust that process, like
Mhm.
trust the process. It
And
is so
recreate
real.
yourself.
Oh my gosh.
You can
Somebody
recreate.
said this to me the other day. It was saying, you pray for, you don't, you thank God for every day. Like you say, you pray
Mhm.
for the person who you are. Like you
Mhm.
thank God, like, thank you for, the person who I am. Thank you for this. But you also thank God for, you say, hey, I want to thank you, God, for, and also I'm thankful for the person that you have created me to be. Right.
Mhm.
So
Mhm.
you want to be, because everybody is put on this earth to do something and to
Something.
be you created for greatness.
Yeah.
So I never even thought about that. I thought about it, but never, and as he said to me the other day, and I was like, yeah, you gotta thank God for the person that he's going to create you to be, because
Mhm.
that is who it is. And
Yeah.
you got to think differently, man.
Mhm.
You gotta
And you
think,
just gotta believe that, like you said,
gotta think.
believe
Yeah.
you're here for something bigger
And
than
that
just
was
the
one of the
day to
that's one of
day.
the yeah, that's the one of the mindset. It's like, you gotta, if when you feel like you belong and you feel like you are here for greatness and you here to do something, your
Mhm.
whole belief system starts to change.
Yeah.
And
Mhm.
if I believe in something, then it's like the belief that I have in that particular situation, it will grow, because I
Yeah.
believe that I'm supposed to do this. Like, this is what I'm supposed to do.
Yeah.
There ain't nothing on this earth that's gonna tell me I'm gonna do something different. Like,
Yeah.
I'm supposed to do this, because
Mhm.
every time that I turn my back on doing this,
Mhm.
something brings me
Don't bring
back
me
to
back.
this.
Yeah.
And I
Exactly.
learned that through the years, like being a therapist, I was always trying to run away from it. And every
Mhm.
time I ran away from it, something brought me back. And now I'm full circle with something
Mhm.
totally different.
Mhm.
And God
But
said,
you're
well,
still
yeah,
using that. Mhm.
man, stop playing
Mhm.
with me.
Mhm. Mhm. Right.
I was saying, y'all stop playing with me.
Yeah.
Y'all see where this trade going. Y'all see it. Stop playing with me. Am I right or am I right?
Right.
So
Yeah, I agree.
it's just one of those things. I just, and I would tell people all the time, I'm excited because I didn't even know you, didn't know
Mhm.
who you was, had no idea. And now, look at the situation now, like, look at everything, how everything is now. Like, it's just amazing.
Yeah.
The community is amazing. It's just amazing. It's
Yeah. Yeah.
amazing. Yeah.
Yeah. And I believe everything happens for a reason. So, like you said, yeah,
Yeah.
being able to network with you, I mean, you inspire me, you motivate me, because you just be like, this is what I've been thinking about. And I'm doing it. And I'm like, oh, I was thinking about that too. Okay, so I need to level up and do what I need to do.
And some people say, and you know what? And somebody else told me the same thing. They were like, girl, you know, you told me something. And I did. And I was like, what did I tell you?
Yeah.
What did I say? Tell me what I said first.
Yeah.
Like, you had said something on one of your calls, and it just was like, I got it. And I was like, thank you. And you know, and when somebody says it to you, that mean, man, these folks listening to me, and it's not even on a call, just period. Just you never know who's paying attention, who's watching you, and who's going through something. Right. And it's like, that's why I you know, the pandemic and the social media, how it has grown over the couple of years, like that, it's like a running advertisement for you. And it's like, and I don't mean like advertisement, just like you're able to show people what you're doing. You're able to let people see what's going on, and people can hear. Like, you have some that's not authentic, but then you got people like us who really want people to win. And we motivate people, and we motivate women, motivate mothers, wives, all these different type of people. And it's amazing, because the same go for me. Like, I listen to something you said, I'm like, man, she made that much in this crypto, man. Dang, I knew I should have took it when she told me to take it. You know, and I'm like, let me get my bread up. Like, let me up my goal game. You know what I'm saying? Because it's like, I'm tired sometimes, and I think that's the thing that a lot of people say, well, man, I'm tired, you know, sacrificing, and I start to think like, I don't want to spend my whole life working for money. Right. You know, I don't want to spend the rest of my life trying to work just to get money. Right. So I want to live my life, and I think it's important to have breaks and have resets and live your life, but you gotta put those things out there, because you want, you know what I'm saying? Like, for you to be in a position to say, okay, I want to be able to do this. What do I really want to do with my life? I know I don't want to sit here and be a bank teller for the next 30 years. Like, nobody wants to do that. Nobody wants to do that. Like, nobody wants to do that. So how can I put things out into this atmosphere so I can grow and I can change the way I think? Like, I gotta start. And I think it starts with just reading. It's you start by just small little steps. Yeah. Because like I say, you inspire me and I inspire you, and obviously we inspire some more folks. So I'm just thankful for those opportunities to do that, and just get on here and do this, and just like kind of like be able to tell people like, man, trust me.
There's so much more out here.
So much out here. Like,
and it's more than enough. So don't think it's not.
So much out here. But yeah, you know, we'll talk y'all ear off if we get on here, talk about, you know, what we're doing, what we trading and everything like that. But I had a what was I about to say? I forgot. I got stopped in my tracks. But I mean, I just talking about, you know, just manifest those things and find things. Because some people are like, well, how do you know what you really like? You know, you got to figure out what you like. You got to figure out what's going to.
And what you would do for free.
For free.
Like what you would do that you love doing, that's for free.
What you would do for free? Like, what would you really do? And how to figure it out? Like, it's so many things. So many people are trying to learn how to not work for somebody now. And I think it's like, there's nothing wrong, because I feel like this is my thing. You have to contribute something to your community. Like, something has to be contributed to that. Like, how can you serve, or how can you do something? Yeah. Because you want to leave something, you want to leave behind something.
Absolutely. So, absolutely.
I think that's part of mindset and just manifesting those things, because people just, you know, you have to figure out, how can I serve and do something that's, you know, because can't take it with me. Right. Can't take it with me. Exactly. So, you know, but like I say, choose happiness and never give up. You know, that's what, I mean, that's what it means. Like, just, you got to choose happiness over what you want, because you have to figure out, because a lot of people think, you know, certain things can make you happy, and that's the mindset. That's not it. Like, you can't, I can't choose something. I mean, I can choose to be happy. I can, like, it's a
Yeah.
choice. That's a
Yeah.
choice.
Yeah. Oh,
Like,
absolutely.
that's a choice. I'm choosing to be happy. No,
Mm-hmm.
there's not a person on this earth that's going to make me happy.
Right. Right.
No, you can't make me happy.
Yeah.
I'm going to choose to be happy because I'm
Mhm.
with you or around you.
Right.
I don't want you to make me happy, because once you leave, the happiness is gone. Like, I don't want you
Right.
I don't want you to make me I don't want you to make me happy. I don't want a thing to make me happy. And that's why a lot of people have to understand. That's why you have to shift their
The
brain.
mindset. Yep. Because a lot of people be like, oh, it's 50-50.
Yeah.
No, it's
No.
100-100. You got to
No.
come to him whole. He got to come to you whole.
Baby,
Because
you
if he
better.
ain't whole or you ain't whole, then
What's that little emoji? The little blue, the little speaker, like, yeah, like, and that was something. And let me just say this. No, we got to go, because we'll have a whole conversation about relationships.
Right.
That is the manifestation. That's the mindset, because a lot of people think that even when you have these quotes and you hear these things about happiness and about peace and all these things that you're supposed to learn, a lot of people think that the only way that they can truly have happiness is they have something in their life to make them happy. And I had to learn how to be happy and how to be peaceful by myself.
Yeah.
And when I was by myself, that's when I learned the most about me. That's when I learned about what makes me happy. And once I got into a situation, I was like, look, I don't want this, or this.
Exactly.
I want this and this and this. And these are things I want. And this is what I want.
And I'm not settling.
And I'm not settling. And when somebody say, I'm all with it, man, there is nothing.
We're about to go to the moon.
Yeah. So, because I'm going to bring 100% to the table, and I want you to do the same thing, because I don't want to complete you, and I don't want you to complete me.
No.
I want us to complement each other, So I think that's the mindset I had to change too, because when people would leave, or this is with friends, girls, all that.
Right.
People will leave, or a job, or if I didn't get the job offer that I wanted, it would be a immediate disappointment, and I would be in this sulking mode, and it's like, why am I so sad? You let me, and I'm like, no, that's not how you're supposed to live your life. I'm supposed to be okay. I can be sad, I can be upset about it.
Right.
It's like,
but
I'm still happy. I'm still in a good place. So hey. Yeah, mindset. That is the whole point of changing your brain and changing your train of thought and thinking.
Yeah.
Sure. Yeah.
And don't let people tell you it's easy, because it's not.
It's not easy. Lord have mercy. It's not easy. I'm like I told y'all, I'm still Peter. I'm still working on myself. I'm still working, trying to get better each day in and day out. But I know I'm a lot better than where I used to be. Oh man, I'm a lot better than I used to be. So obviously I'm because somebody wanna marry me. So obviously they must have said, you all right, you all right. So but yeah, but yeah, we definitely we were talking about teaching, we were talking about training, we were talking about, my teaching, and of course, everything's been going good with me teaching in my course, and just the mentees that I have, and I'm excited because they're learning skill. I got some screenshots today.
Yeah,
and I was like, you better get money, you better get it. So it's just like I'm excited because I've been working for this. Like, this is my moment. And it's like, when you manifest these things and when you see them and when you put them out there and then they actually start to formulate, it's scary because it may not happen as fast as you want it to happen. But it's scary because you're like, I cannot believe this is happening. Like, this is what I wanted. This is what I wanted. This is what I asked for. And I'm just in a good place where, we have education and we're teaching. I'm teaching, I'm teaching young women and men. how to
Mhm.
trade. I'm
Mhm.
teaching them, I'm showing them things. They're understanding, they're learning, they're
Mhm.
practicing, and now, got some screenshots, and now we got some real live money. And
Mhm.
it is an amazing thing for somebody to be working a job, and they're working their job and they're actually trading on the side because they're trying to grow accounts, and they're able to do this. And hey, okay, I can withdraw. And like we've had some guys that withdrew some money.
Mhm.
He withdrew some money from his account because I told him, you want to feel it, like you want to
Yeah.
feel what that
Oh
feels
yeah.
like to trade
Mhm.
and
Mhm.
to make that money. And now you can take it out of that account and you can put it into your own pocket.
Yeah,
You
because that's
gotta
still
feel it.
energy. That's energy.
Man, that's big time energy.
Yeah.
Mindset, how to shift on, and thank you for everything. And it's been a pleep, what is it? Plumbing pleasure. Let me say to get on here. And man, we just gonna keep
Yeah.
doing what we doing. We're gonna keep
Bringing you more information as we
information.
learn.